Alright guys, just like we do every season, and for every season reloaded update, we are going to be going in here and soloing the Redworm here in Modern Warfare Zombies. I'm going to be showing you guys the best way that you can get this guy dealt with, especially for my solo players. I know that there's a lot of people out there that are still trying to get this thing done. Maybe you need that legendary Aether tool schematic, or the Scorcher case schematic, or that flawless crystal schematic. We definitely got you guys covered here today, or if you guys just want to challenge yourself and get this thing done solo, we got you covered on that too. With that, welcome on back to the channel, everybody. If y'all don't know, my name is Ghost. Appreciate everybody that stops by the video today. If you're into zombies content or anything Call of Duty, rock the hell out of that like button for me and subscribe to the channel, guys. We just hit 22,000 subscribers and we're already well on the road to 23, and I cannot thank you guys enough for all the crazy love and support lately. It honestly truly does mean the world to me. Now, starting this thing off, what you guys are looking at right here is I'm actually taking out this Stormcaller because I got left the most clutchest comment by a subscriber here, and that is if you take out the Stormcaller before you attempt to fight the Redworm, you're not going to be having to deal with any of those bosses. But usually you're going to have like a bunch of manglers and mimics that are going to be chasing you and some disciples here and there. I was told that if you take out the Stormcaller before you attempt to fight the Redworm, you're not going to have to deal with any of those, and I've actually tried this like 3 times now and it's worked every time. If you want a little bit of an easier time, like not having to deal with all of those like enemies and stuff that's around you, and so you can just solely focus on the Redworm, be sure to take out this guy first. I'm sure that most of you guys know you're going to be needing the 4 USBs in order to start this fight. I'm actually going to throw up this map up on the screen right here, which is going to show you guys everything that you need to know about the Redworm fight. Got the 4 starting locations, which tell you exactly where the USBs are going to be at. Also got all of the locations of where exactly the Redworm fight is going to be. Big shout out to MW3 for putting together these maps. They honestly do amazing work. Really does make my job over here just slightly a little bit easier too, so big shout out to those guys. I'm also trying something else for the first time. This is going to be the first time that I'm bringing in the Disciple Bottle into the Redworm fight. I just want to see how easy it's going to be with him and see if he'll be a nice distraction for me. Even though we've taken care of most of those bosses, we're still going to have a lot of zombies on us, and sometimes they can be an absolute pain. What I did for this as well is I did bring the Disciple Bottle in with me, but I didn't crack that thing until I was getting ready to go start the Redworm fight because I just didn't want him to die off. I do gotta say, throughout the majority of the Redworm fight, he did do his job for me. He kept a lot of these zombies off me and just acted as a really good decoy, but I don't think he made it to the Dark Aether with me because when I started that, he just wasn't with me. The 2 main things that I would really highly suggest you guys bring in here in order to get this fight done as easy as you can is going to be 1, the Scorcher case, just so you can fly around and set this thing up incredibly easy, and also if you plan on going to any of the Dark Aethers afterwards, it just makes doing that a lot easier. The main thing that's going to be doing all of the damage to the Redworm is going to be the VR11. Still can't believe after all of this time they still haven't nerfed this thing a little bit. I mean, it is just absolutely crazy insane powerful against any of these worms in here. If you guys are stuck on one of those story mission worms like the Dark Aether one or the Jensen one, or maybe if you guys just want to get this done, the VR11 is definitely going to be the weapon of choice. Was it possible soloing this Redworm with something like an AR or an SMG? Oh, definitely, but it's going to be taking you way longer, trust me. Really just isn't a gun in this game that's going to be putting out the same damage that the VR11 does against the Redworm. Another little bit of advice is I would also bring in at least 3 sentry guns. You can't set up any more than 3, or else I would advise you guys to maybe even bring in more. These sentry guns will be damaging the Redworm ever so slightly, but their main job is going to be just keeping a lot of these zombies away from you. I don't know if you guys have ever attempted to try to do the Redworm without anything like any friendly hellhounds or any of the companions or any decoys or anything. Just it is incredibly difficult with how many zombies that they spawn in on you. Luckily in this run here we didn't suffer any downs, but I did bring in 2 self-revives myself just in case. Technically 3 if you want to count the one that I had on, so we actually had 3 self-revives, and I would really highly advise you guys to do the same. You just never know what can happen. Really a lot of different ways that this Redworm can absolutely just insta-down you, and it's never fun. Number 1, if he does that weird little turn and he faces right at you, you need to get out of the way because he might slam down on you, and if he does that, that's an insta-down. The same thing if he decides to shoot out that laser at you like he's Godzilla, yeah, that's an insta-down too. There's also times where the Redworm can come out from underneath the ground and pick you up into his mouth. What you're going to want to be doing is firing your weapon while you're inside of his mouth, you know, pause, but it's going to be damaging him quite a bit while you're in there. Now he can spit you out pretty fast and you can hit the ground and go insta-down. Just be sure to be spamming your parachute as much as you can. So there's been a lot of times that after he spits me out of his mouth that my camera's all wonky. It's kind of like cocked to the side, and what I do is I just spin around like 3 or 4 times and it goes back to normal. I don't know why. You're also going to be hitting those ammo caches a lot just to be repairing your gas mask while you're out here, so don't be afraid of tossing out your decoys to also keep these zombies away from you. You really should be refilling on plenty of those. You got 2 ammo caches right next to you at the fight here. The other thing to watch out for is there is going to be like these lightning symbols that are on the ground, and if you are unfortunately standing in the vicinity of those lightning symbols, controls when they decide to go off, that'll put you down as well. Really, besides all that, my main advice that I can give you guys with this Redworm is to just continuously be moving. If you guys have ever played round-based zombies, it's pretty much just like that. You're going to be needing to be training all of these zombies in a circle around the Redworm. You're constantly just trying to pop shots at this thing whenever you can. Fortunately, with the VR11, you do get kind of a little bit of an extra speed boost when you are running with this thing, so it is nice for dealing with the Redworm. And not only that, you don't have to aim or anything, you just hip fire right at it. Only suggestion would be to be kind of aiming for those red areas, but I don't think it really matters so much with the VR11 just because of so much splash damage. Check this out, guys. The final shot with the VR11 is coming up here on the Redworm, and he was actually going to be going back underneath the ground, and just as his head was getting ready to go into the ground, I popped that last shot and we ended up killing him. This is just an absolutely epic boss fight. I love this final animation when he twirls up and he explodes and there's blood everywhere and it just starts absolutely like raining blood for a few minutes. It is just so cool. One of the other cool things about defeating the Redworm is that he's usually always going to be dropping you a wonder weapon. Most of the times that I've been defeating him lately, he's always dropped me a good wonder weapon. Like this time we ended up getting a Scorcher. We also got the ray gun case, but you know, we're gonna leave that. Take a look at this, guys. We also ended up getting that legendary Aether tool schematic. So like I said, if you guys still need that thing, I know this is one of the rarest schematics in the game. This is one of the easiest ways that you guys can come in here and get this done. But another thing is, I would also highly recommend you guys actually come in here and try this if you can, especially with the setup, because the health of the Redworm is going to actually scale with the size of the squad that starts it. So if you think you're going to be coming in here with like a full squad of 6, and that somehow the Redworm is going to be ever so slightly easier for you just because you brought in all those people, well, it's not exactly going to go that way. If you guys do have an entire squad of people that actually do know what they're doing, then yeah, the Redworm fight can probably be pretty easy for you guys. We are now over here inside of the Season 5 Reloaded Dark Aether, and I'm going to be honest, guys, this wasn't one of my best runs in here. We actually ended up exploding the ACV. I just wasn't paying attention to it. All of a sudden I looked down and that health was all the way gone. We've completed this contract a couple times without the VR11. I was honestly just being an idiot, not paying attention. We did complete the Outlast contract, and then I went around and did the Spore contract, and the game still, after all of these runs inside of this Season 5 Reloaded Elder Dark Aether, we have not gotten that stash increase yet. I don't know what it is, but this game is absolutely refusing to give me that very last schematic. I have had a couple of suggestions from other people saying that it might be just from the Entity Echo boss fight instead of the Elder Dark Aether. Well, I've done that a couple of times too, and I still haven't gotten it from that. Now, that is how I ended up getting the Disciple Bottle schematic. I don't know, I think this game just wants me to continuously keep playing it. That is going to be about it, guys. Hopefully we were able to help out somebody today with getting this Redworm fight done. If you guys did enjoy the video, please do me the biggest favor in the world and drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel if anybody is new. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next one.